we call the meeting to order? Roll call, please.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky-Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Krass,
Yes.
Craig Gerlach, Justin Herder,
Here.
Richard Murden,
Here.
Linnea Miller,
Here.
Gordon Shallow,
Here.
Charles Spargo.
Okay. Open meeting certification. This June 15th, 2020 meeting of the Mid-State Technical College Board, District Board of Directors, and all other meetings of the board and or its committees is open to the public in compliance with state statutes. Notice this meeting has been sent to the news media and designated persons in an attempt to make decisions of the Mid-State Technical College District aware of the place, time, and agenda of the meeting. Open forum. This open forum is the option of the board chairperson, and ground rules have been established to ensure the orderly conduct of business. This is a meeting of the district board, open to the public and not a public hearing. Persons who wish to address the district board may make statements as long as it pertains to a specific agenda item. Individuals should not expect to engage in discussion with the members of the district board. The district board chairperson may or may not respond to statements made. Do we have somebody available that wants to make remarks?
No one has indicated interest in addressing the board, Bob.
Thank you. Now we need a motion on the May 18th, 2020 board meeting minutes.
Betty, I'll also move to approve the May 18 minutes.
This is Justin. I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Consent, action on the consent agenda. It's the payment of district bills and payroll, contracted services. Excuse me. Procurement of goods and services, and district board approval of hires and resignations of contracted staff. Do I have a motion? Chuck, is there a second?
I'll second. Mr. Justin.
Okay, any questions? If not, Angie, roll call, please.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky-Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Krass,
Yes.
Justin Herder,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordon Shallow,
Yes.
Charles Spargo. Bob, I think you may be muted there.
Can't hear you, Bob.
Good reason you couldn't hear. Had it off. ACC Leadership Congress is September 30th, October 3rd in Chicago. Early registration is open. Those planning to attend should connect individually with Angie following tonight's meeting. Summer Boards Association is meeting and has been moved to a virtual format on July 24th. Additional details will be coming from the Boards Association office. And again, let Angie know if you plan to attend, so registration can be completed. I do plan to attend that.
I plan to attend.
This is Betty, and I am too.
And I think, Angie, that's already kind of set up what they're going to do on the agenda and the time and so forth. It's basically Friday, and we're done.
Correct. Yep. So I have Bob, Betty, and Rick right now. If anyone else, just let me know, and then we'll make sure you get the information.
Linnea is a yes.
Okay.
Do you want our meal choices?
I was waiting for somebody to deliver food to my door tonight, and I haven't seen anybody yet.
We'll send you a pizza.
Yeah, right. For appointment, WTCS Board of Directors approved Mid-State's board appointment recommendations for the coming year. Betty, Rick, and I were appointed for a 3-year term beginning July 1, 2020. The next meeting will be held July 13th at the Wisconsin Rapids. We'll begin at 3:30. Note that, 3:30. Unless otherwise announced, committee of the whole will be held at 4 o'clock. The regular meeting will begin at 4:15. I think it's shaky whether we'll be able to meet again in person yet that day. But we'll see. We kind of looked at that in August, and the way they're canceling things around here, August is starting to look shaky. Are there any additional comments? Okay. Shelley, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Bob. Just a few things. First, I want to begin by acknowledging and really saying thank you to 8 employees who are retiring from Midstate this year. I do have their names, and I believe that you're going to load that PowerPoint for me, Angie. They have a combined, just wait for this, they have a combined 175 years of service at Midstate between 8 people. That's amazing. I believe the highest is around 33 years. And typically, you may recall a year ago, I started where we wanted to have the retirees come to a board meeting and we would acknowledge them. But again, in our virtual format, we thought that this would be the best. So again, we put together a brief PowerPoint with their pictures, and Angie is trying to load that right now just so we could acknowledge them and thank them for all what they've done. They definitely have made Midstate be a great place to be. So you will see, I think on our first slide, we have 3 individuals, and we have Tony, and we have Kelly, and we have Carrie. And you will see that Tony was in our finance office as our controller. She began at Midstate in 2002. Kelly has been our surgical technology or surge tech instructor since 1989. And Carrie has been a full-time faculty in our health information management program since 2007. Mike was our agribusiness instructor who's been with us since 1988. And Scott Lang, who has been a criminal justice instructor for us, he began in 2001. And Julaine is one of our student success counselors who's been with us since 2008. Also, Steve was in our IT area as a senior software integration specialist, has been with us since 2002. And Deb McDonald, one of our support coordinators. Anybody who knows Deb, we will definitely be a different organization. She is just an amazing lady that has really done so many different roles while she's been at Midstate, and she began in 1987. So just want to acknowledge these 8 individuals, thank them for their time. They again have done so much for our Midstate communities and our students, and we wanted to make sure that we publicly acknowledge them. So if it's possible, I'd like to give each of those your regards.
Yes.
Okay, absolutely, I will do that. Just a couple of other announcements. We have completed our 4 individual strategic planning sessions. So Beth Ellie is going to be back with you tonight to have you approve what we had learned through all of our feedback sessions as a whole, our mission, our vision, our core values. But then what we do is we take it to the campus, down to the campus level. So through using technology, we had a Stevens Point strategic planning session, a Wisconsin Rapids, a Marshfield, and an Adams Friendship. And each of those campus teams really led it with Beth Ellie. And we talked about, okay, these are these things we heard. How can we take it down to the campus level? And I can tell you that we're excited to really get that out. And as we go about having our meetings this year, we'll bring that information out to you. Also, many of you had witnessed and were part of our virtual celebration for our overall graduation. I want to let you know that on May 26th, I was able to participate in one that our faculty put together for our paramedic students. Our paramedic faculty have kind of a pinning ceremony, something similar to what they do in nursing. And they thought, you know, we can do this virtual. And I just need to say Ryan and Keith Melvin and everything come out of that public safety division, just good stuff, really good stuff. So they had even one of their students who sang during the celebration that was virtual. So it's just amazing how people are being extra creative these days, and it was just really nice. And another example of being creative is we had college camp last week. And typically college camp, we have students come on campus. So we held our, I don't want to say our first ever, but first ever since I've been here, a virtual college camp. And we partnered with the Wisconsin Rapids area, Boys and Girls Club actually. And we provided this programming to over 75 youth. And it was amazing. There was about 7 or 8 faculty that participated, along with Andrew from marketing, Morgan from our K through 12 team. And we had our 2 criminal justice faculty that showed how you could put an obstacle course out in the backyard and how you could use cones or things to be able to do a serpentine type pattern. We had one of our Cosmo instructors that were showing students how they could do a mermaid makeup collection. It was just, we had Keith Melvin showing students how they can do CPR from his living room. I mean, it was really amazing. So just wanted to let you know, again, we're continuing to try to do those good things that Mid-State is known for. The July and August planning, I think Bob had mentioned that. Just wanted to ask all of you your comfort level, how you would like us to plan for July, because July board meeting really is not that far away. It's hard to even think about July, but just kind of wanted to take a few minutes to hear from you. Would you like us to prepare again for a virtual meeting in July? I know we've moved some things to June, so that way July won't be maybe as busy or as long as it had been in prior years. And then maybe shoot more for an August face-to-face, or are you feeling more comfortable that you would like to come back together in July? So I guess, can I just ask for your thoughts, everybody?
Well, this is Betty. I would go virtual only because I have another commitment that evening. So for me to be right here in Junction for my next meeting would be just fine.
This is Chris. I'm going to continue to go virtual until this whole COVID thing is over.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's, from my standpoint, even I'm kind of taking my work's lead a little bit as well as your lead here. Is it prudent of us to continue to do this? I mean, I was going to ask the group, how do we think this is going virtually? I know there's some little technical issues that we work through, and somebody's on mute, somebody's not, but this seems to be working okay at the moment. Is it better for us to stay where we are?
I just don't like virtual. I like face-to-face, but
I despise virtual. I wish I would have been in the office the last 3 months, but
you're not in your motorhome tonight?
Here I am.
You're not in your motorhome tonight?
I'm not. That didn't work so well. So.
But it was fun when you froze.
Was I making a really good face?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Can we see Linnea? Where's Linnea?
I'm here.
Do you have a margarita in your hand?
I do not.
Well, that would be a good thing, Linnea. That would be a good thing. So I think what I'm hearing is maybe for July we're going to plan virtual yet, and let's just continue to watch, and then we can talk more in July about August and make the best decision for all of you. Just to commend you. This is not easy, having a virtual meeting, and how we've had to adjust your committees and how we're trying to get the information out to you. But just to thank you for your willingness and support, because it's essential that we do continue to move things forward. And if we didn't do this, that would really kind of just make progress stop. So thank you. I know it's definitely challenging for all of us, but we're learning together. Last thing that Betty?
Can I just say something, that DBA is planning on the planning meeting for August face-to-face in Madison, but a one-day 11 to 4 meeting.
Okay.
So we're going to start out with that meeting face-to-face.
Okay, that's good to know. Last thing that I had, Bob, is just from a President Association. I wanted to share that we did have a meeting on June 4th, and our next state board meeting will be virtual on July 8th. at our June 4th President's meeting, we really did planning for the next year. So we talked about our task force, and you might remember we have 3 of them at the President's level. We have one regarding the incarcerated individuals. We have one where we work with our university partners on transfer. And then we had one on special populations where we talk about diversity. We elected as a group of presidents to continue those 3 task force. We believe that we have made some momentum on those 3, but we still believe that there is work to be done. So those 3 task force will continue. And then what we had done is we looked at the state committees and we selected a presidential liaison to be able to support those state committees. You may recall in the past, this past year, I was the president who worked with grant leaders of the state. So with me moving into the chair of the president, I will no longer be on the incarcerated committee, and I will not be chairing or be that presidential liaison for the grant. That's kind of you get a pass because there's so many extra things that you do as chairing the President's Association. But know that I ran my first meeting. There wasn't any gnashing of teeth, so that was good. And it's gonna be an interesting year. I think I'm really gonna enjoy it, to be honest with you. So
We're excited.
yeah, I think it's gonna be good. So that would conclude my report.
Well, I just wanted to commend, that was a great article in the paper about the program at the Wood County Jail.
Yeah.
That was really neat to see, and the comments from the participants.
Yes. I mean, there's really more that we can do. So just being able to get that out and show the visibility and all the good that can come from it, we can only grow from there. So thank you for saying that.
Anything else? Otherwise, Chuck, you're up.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think Rob is going to handle most of the finance committee stuff. We've got several things, so I'll just turn it over to Rob to simplify audio here because I happen to be in the room today. It complicates things when more than one mic is active, so I'm going to shut up.
Okay. And Rob, I'm getting a glare off your head.
Come on. Can you hear me? Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
One in every crowd, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. So I'll take us through the consent agenda items briefly. So we had some questions from Chuck, and I responded to the finance committee with a few questions about invoices. I think those were resolved satisfactorily. If you look at page 15 of your agenda, that's the balance sheet. Usually my comment here is just kind of look at cash, and if you were to add up the cash for May of 20 and compare it to May of 29, May of 19, May of 20 versus May of 19, we're up just to 20.6 million versus 20.3 million. So pretty much the same position as we were in last year. On page 16 is the budget with modifications for FY20. I don't usually spend a whole lot of time on this page, but just 2 items that are going to be interesting and lead us into the next page for budget amendments. If you look in Fund 2, you see the general institution portion of the CARES money for Mid-State. So that's the $764,006 that Shelley talked about. So we added that in Fund 2 in both the revenue and the expense line. And then the student portion of the CARES money, that's in Fund 7. So you see the $5,154,006. That's the federal CARES money for students being added into Fund 7, and that occurred in both revenue and expense. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple of pages. On page 17, typically what we look at here is the current expenditures versus budget. And not surprisingly, having been shut down and keeping people out of the buildings, I think for 2.5 months, our spending has really dropped over a wide variety of areas. So we're sitting at something like 72% of our budget in current expense, which is a small portion of our operating expense budget overall, but we're definitely going to be favorable there. So that kind of sets us up, I think, nicely for FY21. We have some tuition shortfalls or anything else like that. On page 18, these are our budget modifications. We've definitely got some somewhat unusual activity here. So in Fund 2, as I mentioned, we've got $764,000 coming from the federal government related to general institutional dollars. And what we did from a budgetary perspective in FY20, we went ahead and built the whole $764,000 into this budget, this year's budget, from a revenue and expense perspective. It's probably not going to flow exactly that way for actuals or for reimbursement. We'll probably end up revisiting this in FY21, but we're modifying the FY21 budget currently for the full amount. Back in, I think it was early April, we got $50,000 from DMI related to COVID. So that's also been added into the budget. That money will likely all be spent this year. Where we get to roof repairs, it printed out a little bit funny, but these are all relating to our capital projects, Fund 3. And this relates to, if you remember back, we started talking about how we were going to start spending on FY21 capital projects a little bit earlier, actually in FY20. And the accounting treatment that we were advised to perform was to put that into the FY20 budget, and so up the expense, and then we'll make a modification to the FY21 budget, we'll reduce the expense, and then over those 2 or 3 months, those will net to zero, and so that's how we're handling that. In Fund 7, this is the student portion of the CARES Act money, so the $764,000 that is dispersed to students. As Shelley mentioned, we've dispersed about $605,000. I didn't do the math, but it's a little more than 80%. And that's important because we're not allowed to reimburse mid-state for the general institutional money at a faster rate than we disperse it to students. So it's good that we've been so diligent about getting that money out to students. On page 19, just real briefly, the School of Advanced Manufacturing Engineering on the machine tool program is buying a coordinate measuring machine that's in the FY21 budget. Basically, it plots exactly where the lathe should be running. It goes down to the micron level to make sure that you've got, micron level to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need to be machined. I don't want to steal Bobby's thunder, but Exhibit E on page 21, we had 2 proposals in May, and both of those were accepted. So I think we're going to talk a little bit about that, but definitely a high hit rate on the number of proposals that we made in May. I think that was everything that I wanted to cover as far as all the finances for the month of May. Are there any questions or comments on that?
If not, we need a motion to accept that, right?
I think technically we accepted. I went ahead and shared the color just because we were a different structure, but I think we're okay. Angie's nothing, yes. We're okay.
Okay, and then you're gonna go right to the resolution awarding the sale of the bonds.
Right, at which point I'm gonna mute and let John talk.
Hi, John.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time and allowing me to participate. Rob and I are tag teaming this, even though you won't admit to it, where he's going to be the page turner, the Vanna White on the show here, and I'm going to be talking about the sale itself. By previous board action, you authorized the issuance of 4.5 million general obligation notes, and we went ahead and prepared the official statement. With Rob, we held a call with our friends at Moody's Investor Service and proceeded to go to market today. The good news, of course, is that Moody's has confirmed your rating at a AA1, and I commend the board and the administration for continuing to have such a strong rating, because strong ratings help to make for lower interest rates. People like to go to quality issues. So we went into the market today. The details are that the notes themselves are going to be dated June 30th. Next page, Rob. No. Keep going. Bingo. The notes are dated June 30th, and that's one too many pages. And that's when the funds will be transferred to the district. The interest begins September 1 of 2020. You may want to go to the previous page, Rob, if you can. There you go. The interest begins on September 1 of 2020, and there's sufficient funds either to the bond premium or previous sales to cover that interest payment. The principal payments are March 1, 2021 through 30, and that matches your existing principal payments. We moved the call date up 1 year just because we were able to get away with it. We had prepared the offering document saying that bonds maturing 28, 29, and 30 would be callable in 27. But we went out and said, well, maybe we can do it in 26. It's your option. And it was received by the marketplace. That wasn't an issue. So we picked up 1 year on the call. Reality is that the interest rates for those last 4 maturities are at 2%. Likely you'll ever affect the call. As far as the true interest rate cost, you can see it's at a 1.34. So you think about that in terms of 10-year money at a 1.34, that's pretty darn low rates. Next page. This page, Rob just touched on in his coverage of the budget presentation, but now what we've done on the left side is we filled in today's sale. So the average interest rate, which takes into account the coupons, yields, the coupons, which are some places 3%, some places 2%, the average comes in at 238. Now, we typically use 4% for running the math because it's conservative and it helps us going forward because someday they will go up. But this sale came in at a 238. On the left side, you see your existing debt payments. And as a reminder, when Rob was talking before about your budget and talking about, you think in terms of your fiscal year budget and your levy and your operations, for debt service, it's all on a calendar year. You have to levy on a calendar year because you have to make your payments on a calendar year. So calendar year debt service is treated a little bit differently than setting your levy for operations. To the right, you see we have the preliminary, you're not considering it today, the $1 million piece that's still outstanding to be issued. It's scheduled that you would be adopting the initial resolution in August and the sale resolution in September and getting the money in October. But that's for another day's consideration. When you come across to the right, you'll see that we have not only this issue, but we also show future issues. Once again, it's not an action of the board, but we're saying, what if you borrowed $5.5 million for the rest of our lives and you were at a 4% rate? What would it look like? And as you go forward to right, you'll see that we're really going to what they call a combined debt service, less funds on hand. We're really going to a point where we're going to have a level debt service levy going forward. That's the goal, and that's what we're going to continue to head towards. Now, at the very back of the report, I have the Moody's credit report itself. I would say to you that the credit report is very similar to the reports in the past that you've had. Their commentary about challenges, I hate to go to challenges, but challenges are no different than the 11 other technical colleges I work with. They say there's challenges of enrollment, there's challenges of limited revenue raising flexibility. That's the same at every report I could show you across the state. But the good things that you're doing, should continue to do. You have sound financial operations. You've got low debt pension burdens. That gets you to the AA1. That gets you to a 1.38 interest rate. What I just covered this evening, was provided to your bond counsel, Quarles Brady, and has been incorporated into the resolution, which is on your agenda for this evening. Mr. Beaver, I'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
John, if there are no questions, do we need a motion?
Yes, please, Bob. We will need a motion second, and then we will walk through a roll call vote.
All right.
I'll move for the approval of the resolution for the sale of the 4.5 million general obligation of promissory note. This is Betty for 2028.
Chuck, second.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Krass,
Yes.
Justin Herder,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordon Shallow, Charles Spargo,
Motion carried. The next
Thank you
issue,
very much.
pardon me?
Thank you very much.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good night.
Thanks for coming.
Bye, John.
Bye-bye.
Excuse me. Okay, the next issue is the budget adoption. If there aren't any questions, we should have a motion to adopt the budget as presented.
This is
Did
Linnea.
Chuck
I moved it.
I think Chuck moved. I'll second. This is Rick.
Second, Rick.
I don't see Chuck at all. I don't hear Chuck.
He's here.
And
Okay.
We got a first and a second. Any questions? If not,
Robert Beaver,
roll call vote, please. I'm sorry.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kress,
Yes.
Justin Herder,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordon Shallow,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Linnea, yes, I had to reconnect again.
Okay.
That's what
Motion passed.
happens.
The next item I see is cosmetology remodel project. Matt?
Thanks, Bob. We, as you heard Bob allude to a little bit, there's a new program in cosmetology, it's the nail technique and it's a technical diploma. And to accommodate that program, there needs to be some additional area for that program. And so our cosmetology area here on the Wisconsin Rapids campus over in our E building is we need to remodel that space. There's a culmination of factors. The first is, and if you look at your resolution, it's page 34 of the agenda. It's the very last page, actually. It's Exhibit K. It basically lays out the reasoning for this. For one, we have the additional program being added. The cosmetology program remains strong, and Deb can address like those numbers as well. The area itself is in need of renovation. It has been actually for some time, and we've managed to keep it going for as long as we have. But it's gotten to where it's getting more difficult to maintain and keep clean, and just is in need of updating. It's reached its useful life. Yeah, part of what we have to do to go to the state board is have our district board, of course, pass a resolution seeking state board approval. And so tonight, that's what I'm bringing you here, is that resolution for you to vote on so that we can approach the state board to have them vote to approve the remodel of the cosmetology area. Are there any questions on this?
Go for it.
Okay. Bob, I'm just thankful you didn't make fun of me tonight. It was Rob. I had the best.
I'm sorry, we need a motion. Chuck? Is there a second?
I'll second
I'll
it, Justin.
move second. This is Betty.
Okay. No, if there aren't any questions, we have a roll call vote.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kress,
Yes.
Justin Herder,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Charles Spargo, Gordon Shallow.
Yes.
Okay. Academic and Student Services Committee, Betty?
Good afternoon. We had no consent agenda items. And if Dr. Deb Stencil is available, she can give us the update on the nail technician technical diploma, and then followed by the program discontinuation.
Thank you, Betty, so much for your introduction. So I do have two things on the agenda for today. First, the program approval of our nail technician technical diploma. So at the February Academic and Student Services Committee, I talked to you about this program, and you provided approval for the concept review portion of the approval process. So that is the first step in the process. The concept review paperwork was submitted to the Wisconsin Technical College System, and that was then approved on May 12th of 2020. This program is a 10 credit, 1 semester program, really provides individuals with information on nail services. They learn about nail retail, sales, nail salon operations and management, as well as some advertising strategies. It also prepares graduates to participate, to complete the, sorry, my video shows on. One more thing, let me try something else, I'm sorry. My video shows on, so I'm not sure why it's not working. Angie, any ideas?
Do you have a lens over your camera, Deb?
No. No.
Okay, then no.
Oh, hold on. I do know why. Okay. Work.
That's okay, Deb.
There we see you.
Okay, there. There we go. Okay. As I was saying, 10 credits, 1 semester program, and it does prepare graduates to take the state of Wisconsin exam to become a licensed manicurist. Due to the number of credits and the fact that it's a 1 semester program, students will not be able to receive financial aid. Although we expect that this will not be a problem because it is a short program, and being one of 3 similar programs in the Wisconsin Technical College System, they all are this length and none of them provide financial aid. So we're not unique in that sense. Operational dollars will support a part-time faculty, curriculum development, and the equipment that we need. And thank you for your support with our capital budget. We'll be able to renovate and create a classroom for both the manicure and the pedicure stations. So I really appreciate your support. It will allow us then to do that renovation and start that program, we hope in January of 2021. So I'm requesting the Mid-State Board to approve submission of the program approval paperwork to the Wisconsin Technical College System Board for approval.
I will so move. This is Betty.
For a second.
This is Chris, I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please, Angie.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky-Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kress,
Yes.
Justin Herder,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordon Shallow,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Okay.
Linnea was yes. I think I cut out again.
Okay. The second item that I wanted to discuss is program discontinuous. So as we look at our product development plan, we're always making sure that our programs are relevant. We have 3 associate degree programs that were initially approved back in 2008 and suspended in 2017. We have a 3-year period where we can evaluate those programs that we suspend and then make a decision if we want to bring them back and offer them again, or if we want to go through the process to discontinue them. These 3 programs are no longer needed because we have a 4th program, and that is our active renewable energy technician associate degree program. That program is currently meeting the needs of our students and the businesses in that area. So the renewable energy and construction area within our district, this program meets those needs. So I'm requesting that we discontinue 3 associate degree programs. They are the energy efficiency technician, the solar electric technician, and the sustainable heating and cooling technician. So again, all 4 of those programs were started in the same year, and 3 of them we just did not have a need and suspended them in 2017. So we would like to just, we funneled those students into the 1 active program, and that program is doing well. So I'm requesting the Mid-State Board to approve submission of the program discontinuous documentation to the Wisconsin Technical College System for the energy efficiency technician, the solar electric technician, and the Sustainable Heating and Cooling Technician Associate Degree programs. And I forgot to mention that we have no active students in any of those programs.
Is there a motion?
Move, Gordy.
Second,
I'll
Chuck?
second. This is Justin.
Okay. Roll call vote, please, Angie?
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kress,
Yes.
Justin Herder,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordon Shallow,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Our committee also had 2 informational items, and they will both be covered by Dr. Mandy Lang. The out-of-state tuition remission annual summary, and then that was the FY20. Now then the FY21 out-of-state tuition remission annual report. Dr. Mandy?
Thank you. So as Betty mentioned, I have 2 informational items for you today. Both are which are annual reporting requirements. So many of you may have heard these in past years. So the first item is the FY20 out-of-state tuition remission annual summary. And we have, so a little bit of a background on that. We have the ability to remit out-of-state tuition for needy and worthy students who come from out of state. The Mid-State District Board has delegated this authority to me in the past, and we are also required to then report on this annually to the board. We have not remitted out-of-state tuition since we stopped athletics, which was more than 10 years ago. We didn't plan on remitting any tuition for this year, and we didn't end up remitting any either. So that is the annual report to the board on the summary of the FY20 out-of-state tuition remission. Any questions on that? Okay, I will move right into the next one, which is the FY21 out-of-state tuition remission annual request. So the second item is the request for the coming year for FY21. So based on our recent history with not having any needy and worthy students from out of state, we are not requesting to remit any out of state tuition for the 2020-2021 academic year. So no changes there. We don't expect that to have any out of state tuition students who are needy and worthy based on a recent history, and so no request at this time.
Okay.
One note for these items. So moving forward, the reporting requirements actually won't be connected to the administrative bulletin AB 0402. So you'll note that reference in the in our board agenda packet. And but we do have still this requirement moving forward. It's just not connected to that administrative bulletin. It was an administrative change at the state office, and moving forward, they'll be connected to the annual WTCS guidance on students' tuition and fees. So just a record change for future reference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, not any question on anything else. Betty, or no, Justin's up.
Find my mute button. Here we go. All right. So the Human Resources and External Relations Committee this evening did not have any consent agenda items, but we have 2 informational items with Dr. Bobby Damrow.
Hi, everyone. You're right. I have 2 items for you tonight. The first one I'd really like to share with you is a community relations marketing project that we're just wrapping up on because it's very unique for us. Back in October of 2019, we were contacted by the Committee for Citizen Action Awareness. It's a nonpartisan, nonprofit group based out of Washington, D.C. And it asked us if we would be interested in participating and sponsoring a nationwide video entitled Where We Stand. And this video supported the National Institute for Health, the NIH, in their theme. as you know, the NIH, or maybe you don't know, is the largest supporter of biomedical research in the world. And its mission is to really disseminate research-based information to the public. In this year's video, in the content that was selected by the Committee for Citizen Action Awareness really pointed to health-related information as it would affect those folks that are deciding to go to college. So part of the data and part of the research that came forth is that a college graduate lives on average 10 years longer than a person without a high school diploma. So when we were asked a little bit about the project, we kind of dug a little bit deeper into it, and we learned that the project was going to include it's a 40-minute video. 10 minutes of that would be an introduction by President Mondyke and talk a little bit about our campus, and it would be followed by a segue from her to talk about some high-level health outcomes, and then it was followed again by this 30-minute core piece by the NIH with health outcomes related to a lot of comparisons across the nation. The DVD actually would be distributed to all high schools, and we were selected for Congressional District 3, which is Ron Kine's district. And acknowledging that Wisconsin Rapids and Stevens Point High Schools, their health instructors and their civics instructors would receive this DVD to play. We also learned that Eau Claire, La Crosse, and some bigger areas that we often don't get to show the mid-state story to would also receive it. So we decided to participate. We just finished that production, and it's ready to go. Sadly, we were ready to hit the schools with it in May. Now we're looking at fall, but there will be a big distribution across District 3 again. So some of you may see this in the libraries. Some of you may see it on closed caption television, but certainly it'll be hitting the schools, and it's providing a very important message with regard to post-secondary education, and to the fact that post-secondary education is now found to be a leading indicator in longevity. So I just wanted to share that with you, and hope that you enjoy that piece of information. Any comments or questions on that? Okay, the next piece that I have is just my usual contracted services. You can see that our proposals and contracts align, as Rob had shared a few moments earlier. But one of the things that I really wanted to share with this group, something that I think our college should be very proud about, is that we were selected by a community college in Illinois to help them. This college didn't have an online microbiology class, but they had students that needed it, and health students that needed it to really progress in their health field. So Midstate was selected because we did have a microbiology course online. We had been successful with it, with our students, and we felt very comfortable offering that as a contract. So the first week in June, we have a closed section for the students from this community college in Illinois. And they're taking classes, and we're just excited that they're going to be able to stay on track. It really was a group effort by a lot of folks, including Mandy and her financial aid folks, and Deb, her academics, her faculty were amazing. And we started out with them saying we have 8 students, and as you can see that the number of students went to 18, and so did the price of the contract. So something we're really proud about. The second piece was just a contract that we closed with a community organization that said, look, we believe that things are going to be ready to go in September of 2020 for our group, and we want to be one of the first that has some CPR refresher training. So they got the contract in and signed it right away. So we've got a number of things stacking up on us. So when the time is right, we're go. That's all I have to share.
Any questions for Bobby? If not, we're at the committee of the whole meeting. Dr. Mondyke shared the COVID ID update for us, where they have started blended classes. They've had people on campus to complete the spring semester, and we're planning on a blended concept for fall. Enrollment is down a little bit. 11, 12%. Excuse me. And it sounds to me like things are pretty positive along these lines. We just don't know how soon things are going to be lifted. And so graduation is still in flux for those of you who are interested or wondering. I think they've done a lot of thinking and talking, and you know, they just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen for sure. It seems like it changes day to day. Should I miss anything, Shelley? Okay. Then Rob Fish gave us an update on the Stevens Point campus. And for those of you who aren't aware, there was a contamination when we bought that building and that land. Some of it is a parking lot, which we, the administrators, then responsible to cover the parking lot where there's any problem. And there's some under the building. And the city of Stevens Point, I was going to say Friendship, Chuck wouldn't like that. The city of Stevens Point is responsible for that, and they've accepted that responsibility. And so, in conjunction with the DNR, I'm sure that'll get taken care of and cleaned up and whatever has to happen. Is there any questions on that or any other thoughts? Okay. The discussion and action, Mid-State's missions, visions, strategic directions, and core values. Shelley?
Thank you, Bob. I'm just going to turn this over to Beth Ellie, where she is going to just kind of finish what she started last month. She had gone through the detail of that validation with our mission and our vision and strategic directions. And tonight we are hoping that you are going to approve what she shared. So just a brief update from Beth. So Beth?
Hi, good evening. Last month I'd shared with you the process we implemented to validate Mid-State's mission, vision, core values, and strategic directions. I also shared the results from our various stakeholders, which included you, the board, staff, faculty, students, K-12, employers, community leaders, and the public. Through this process, we validated the mission, vision, core values, and strategic directions, and showed they continue to be relevant and appropriate for the next 5 years. At this time, we're asking the board to do a roll call vote to validate and approve Mid-State's mission, vision, core values, and strategic directions.
We have a motion to approve it.
So move. This is Betty.
Second, Chuck. Any questions? If not, roll call, please, Angie.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky-Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kress,
Yes.
Justin Herder,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordon Shallow,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Okay. Now we're at the closed session. We need a motion to convene the, excuse me, closed session pursuant to statute 19.85 sub 1 sub C and or E Wisconsin statutes to discuss the president's evaluation and compensation and discuss labor relation matters. The board may take action in closed session. Following the closed session, the board will entertain a motion to reconvene to open session and will then take any further action that is necessary and appropriate. The board will thereafter entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion?
This is Chris. Also move.
Second, Chuck. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky-Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Kress,
Yes.
Justin Herder,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Sorry, yes.
Linnea Miller, Gordon Shallow,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay. For some of us, we might need a quick break here.
Yes, if we could just take a moment's break, please. For those of you not board members not participating in the closed session, now is the time that we ask that you depart the meeting. Thank you for joining us this evening. Board members, it'll just be a couple of moments and you'll be joined by Karen and Shelley to walk you through some of tonight's closed session.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
To go back into open session, Karen?
Chuck moves, we go back into open.
I'll second it. This is
Second.
Chris.
Roll
Chris got
call.
it first. Rick Moody,
Yes.
Chuck Spargo. Bob Beaver,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordy Shallow,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Justin Horder,
Yes.
Kristen Krass.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're back in open session. The board convened at closed session. Sorry.
I'm just checking with Mike that we're on.
Okay. The board convened a closed session this evening to conduct the president's annual performance evaluation. Having done so and now reconvening to open session of Mid-State Technical Board, we talked about her discretionary bonus that we've been working on throughout the year. And we also talked about the upcoming year, and we decided that we would continue that discretionary bonus and some pay issues around that. We also allowed for Shelley's request to not have an increase in base salary and so forth due to some her leadership with the college and what she's going to expect out of staff there. So, and when we did extend her contract one more year, so it'll be a total of 3-year contract. And so I would say performance discretionary bonus in November, at the end of the year, and extend her contract 1 year. Do I have a motion to do that?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second, Betty.
Okay, you want to do both roll call?
Rick Merton,
Yes.
Chuck Spargo,
Yes.
Bob Beaver,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Gordy Spargo, or Gordy Shallow,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Justin Horder,
Yes.
Kristen Krass.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, you both have an S, so close enough.
Okay, folks, we're at that time of the day. Long past the time to conclude this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion. Mr. Justin.
The meeting stands.
Bye.
We'll see you the 13th, folks.
Good
Stay
night,
healthy.
everybody. Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
7:50.